this last stage is sanding and finishing the outside. Now you can notice here there's a bit of a knot here, and if you look at it, it starts to flex slightly from there up. So I'm going to bring up support while I'm sanding so I don't have any worry. Now you can use the rubber chucky, you can use the one-way aluminium cone. The reason I don't like the aluminium cone so much is because when you're putting finish on here, it will actually transfer sometimes from the metal onto the wood. So I simply made my own, which is just a piece of oak that I've made into a cone. And if you notice, if I spin this without the there, but as I bring it up, you can see it'll start to be, it's absolutely perfect. Now also, if I used my usual tennis ball, then that too, you've got to get it dead center all the time, especially with that bit of flexing there. And this simply fits onto the back of there's a little faceplate here, and that screws on to the Axminster Live Center set. So very good. Okay, so now we're going to sand, and I'll be starting at 180, working my way up to 240, and then using True Grit and finishing off with Hampshire Sheen. Now, I've said before on many occasions that people tend to skimp almost on the last steps, and they are the most important. So when you're sanding, use an even pressure through each grit. As I say, I'm starting off with 180, and again, the reason I like the wooden cone is that nothing transfers from there onto your piece. There's also a little bit of an indent there, and I've got to be very careful when I'm sanding here to keep everything nice and crisp. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with all the sanding, but we'll start off, and I'll turn the sound down because obviously I'm going to have my extraction on. So starting off with 180 and around the 550, 600 RPM is more than adequate. So now I've completed the 180, which took me about 2 or 3 minutes. I go, especially along the stem, like you would if you were doing a pen. Just go with the grain by hand, turn the lathe off, just twist it nice and slowly, and that will negate any possibility of radial marks. Okay, so once that's done, then we'll advance on to the 240. And I'll come back when I've done the 240. It's no point me showing you sanding because it's quite boring, but take it from me, spend your time and get it exactly as you want it. Before we go any further, the more discerning of you might have noticed I have my rings on, which is something I very rarely do. Always take my rings off when I'm in the workshop. However, I haven't got them on now. Right, so the next stage, I've sanded to 240. I'm happy with the finish. I keep saying this, do not concern yourself spending more time than you think you should when you're sanding, because you can use the 240 to really refine and get those little nuances just as you want. And that's what I do, and that really is all there is to it. Possibly in a production situation you would spend more time, less time getting it exactly right. But so anyway, you put on the sanding sealer. I use the Hampshire Sheen pre-thinned. You can use unthinned if you wish. It's totally up to you. I just find that this works well for me. Don't be tight with it. Give it a good coating and then make sure you take off any excess after about a minute. And then let it completely dry before you start to apply your true grit. Okay, just use a dry piece of the paper towel and just get rid of any excess. Getting those in the little details there. And just let that go off. So literally a couple of minutes normally. My workshop is quite cold, although I've got the space heater on, so it does depend on the ambient temperature in your workshop how quickly all these finishes or preparations dry, as I'm sure you know. So we'll just let that go for a couple of more minutes and then I'll come back to you and we'll apply the true grit. Now when I'm using true grit on a goblet, I apply it with the lathe spinning. I'm only doing about 500 RPM. There's no need to be frugal with it. And again, like with sanding, an even pressure. And just keep working it in and letting the abrasive properties do their job. So again, you see me do it in real time. I'll cut this now and then come back to you just before the true grit has done its job. And I'm just finishing off now with the true grit, and the aim is to, I'm now going at around 1200 RPM, and the aim is to have no residue on your paper towel. And when that is achieved, it has done its job. And the whole idea of using true grit is to reduce the need to use the finer abrasives. If I'm honest, I don't always use true grit, but it is a really good method to reduce that fine airborne dust. And you'll get, in the finish, you will get a surface of around 1000 grit. Okay, so, and it feels nice and slick. There's nothing, there's no stickiness there at all. So it's ready to apply your final finish of choice, which again, in my case, is Hampshire Sheen High Gloss, but you can use any finish that you desire. And again, I apply the wax with the lathe spinning, not too quick to begin with, around 500 RPM, something like that. And the main reason for that is that you don't get it flying around everywhere. So just apply. A goblet's an awkward thing, I suppose, to finish, because you've got lots of different areas, different parts, detail, etc. Like with a bowl and a box, it's basically one surface normally. And again, not too much wax, but don't be too frugal with it either. And the main thing is to work it, like on the base here, work it to the edge and move it around nicely on the stem into the detail, and around the bowl. And again with the bowl here, you see when I'm touching the support there, the cone, because it's wood, it's not affecting no metal or anything is coming off that, and you can get a nice even coat. Okay, so again, allow that to go off. Again, with it being cold and a bit damp here at the moment, it's going to take about, I won't buff it up for about 4 or 5 minutes. So again, I'll cut now and I'll come back when I'm doing the final buffing. So now it's had 3 or 4 minutes to go off. So now the final buffing, and turn the speed up to about 1000 RPM, just over. No great pressure, and just move your paper towel around on the wax, even pressure, because you don't want to melt the wax again, which will cause streaking. Towards the edge, towards the edge. And there we have it, a nice even finish, no streaking and no radial marks. And all we have to do now is remove the support, and just to show you, you can see that there is a slight wobble on that, you see, which will affect when you're putting your finish on. Well, sanding really. So all we've got to do now is to part him off, and again remember to part off and undercut slightly. Now we started that undercut so that I could sand the edge of this now as I was sanding, and just take your parting tool and nice and gently not too high a rev, because you can easily burn. So again, take your time. There you go. And there she is. And now what I'll do now, I'll just put my sanding arbor in the headstock, and we'll just sand up that, and the job will be finished. I'll be back in 2 seconds. And again, you want your base to be finished to the same standard as the rest of your goblet. So again, just spend time getting it right. And again, I'm not going to bore you with that. This will take about 3 or 4 minutes. I'll go through the grits, and you could actually just do it by hand if you wish, or a handheld drill, up to you. Depends what you have at your disposal. Okay, I'll come back when I finish that. So here's the goblet finished, and it stands at just on 6 inches by 2.5 inches at its widest point on the bowl here. Important points in my view is to make sure that the base is the same, or ideally slightly less diameter than the widest part of the bowl. And you're talking in terms of thirds for the features, the base, the stem and the bowl itself. The underside of the base I finished to 320, a sanding sealer Hampshire sheen, and buffed it up by hand. You can take as long or as little as you want to on finishing, but I think that's very important to get as good a finish as you can. And don't be afraid to use the abrasive to finesse the final shape of your piece, especially on a goblet when you've got the detail here under the bowl. And there was a slight bow there, a slight lump there, I wasn't happy with it. So with the 240 I just finessed it to exactly as I wanted to get it. Okay, well I hope you found this series of some interest. I do intend to do a bowl and a box as well in the future in the same sort of format, and that'll be sometime in the future. What I'm going to do also is to put the three together so that it'll be a completed piece in one video. So if you want to spend about an hour and a half watching it, then you're more than welcome. Okay, and the actual piece I should think took me about an hour and a half-ish from start to finish. So it's not too bad. Okay, well thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon on the next one. Cheers now.